style is saying who you are without having to open your mouth, and I strongly agree with that. Like the way I walk down the street, you know, the way I walk anywhere, you know, it's all in my presence, it's all in my vibe. It's, you know, just, it doesn't always mean what you're wearing. You can have style in a basic t-shirt and a pair of jeans. So why did I do this video? My inspiration was from a channel I came across, and I'll link it below. And it was a style channel, and they were doing the What's Underneath project, and I was super inspired to do my own version of it. And yeah, so that's what made me do this. And I'll just go ahead and get started. Was I aware of my size growing up? No. I mean, I was, you know that you're not as small as the other kids. You know that maybe, you just know sometimes, you know, like, I'm bigger, I'm chubby, baby fat, whatever they wanted to call it, you know. But I wasn't, through elementary school, through kindergarten, through 5th grade, I wasn't shunned out because of it. I wasn't bullied because of it. I wasn't anything like that, anything negative. I played basketball with the other girls and boys. I, went to the playground. We all did the same activities. We all did the same things. Style, I said style, but we all did the same things. I wasn't picked on. I wasn't. I was just like everybody else, you know. My size didn't define who I was and what I could do. So no, I wasn't aware of it. I would say when I moved out of North New Jersey to Plainfield, New Jersey, I became more aware of my size. My size, it wasn't bullying, but it was like everybody in the class had, well, not the cool people, but the kids who were close and like best friends in middle school, we all developed these nicknames around 7th grade, and it was nicknames that kind of picked on you, gave you something to laugh at. And I think my best friend's, her name was Egg because she had an egg-shaped head. My sister, her name was, I believe, Beaver because she had, like, the 2 front teeth. One of them was named, I think, Cheese or something because his teeth was yellow, and one of them was Raccoon because she had dark circles around her eyes. And what was I? Can you guess? I was the guinea pig, right? So right then and there, other people would think you were being picked on walking down the hallway because they were like, guinea pig. So they would laugh thinking that I was being picked on when it was just like a series of, nicknames. And it was kind of, I didn't take offense to it, I'll say that. It didn't scar me for life. So no, I was aware of my size, but not in a negative light, to answer that. When was size relevant? Size became relevant. Social media was created. That's when size became relevant. That's when people, strangers, came along and just downed people for being overweight. It was just like a group of, just internet bullies. I never had a problem with it in my life. I was never, like I said, I was never shunned out because of it. I was never shunned out. But as soon as social media came around, that's when people would come on your Instagram and I didn't have YouTube like back then when I had Instagram, started my first Instagram, but people would come on Instagram and just be like, oh my gosh, you're so fat, oh, you're so overweight, you need to lose some weight, go to the doctor, you need to get healthy, you're gonna die, you're gonna get diabetes, blah blah blah. I'm like, wow, thank you, Instagram. Because obviously all these people are paying my health insurance, obviously they know more than me. Obviously my doctor is talking to them about my weight and my circumstances. So But yeah, Instagram was like, they just came out of the woodworks, and everybody just, it wasn't really bad at first, because at first I didn't like post my weight. I mean, not my weight, but like pictures of me and stuff like that. It was always like my art or OOTDs that I put together. Like I said before, it wasn't nothing like it. Yeah, basically it wasn't me. But then as soon as I started going through my self-love journey and loving myself and putting pictures of my full body and pictures of me and a leotard or something, that's when they came out. Don't wear a pencil skirt, honey, because they're gonna come for you. So social media definitely made size relevant. Definitely defined people by their size. Definitely changed the connotation of the word fat. It went overboard, I would say, for me, when social media came out. And now that I'm on YouTube, it's just like, it's like open territory. But YouTube, I actually haven't come across so much of that, but I see it on so many other women's, their platforms. Growing up, were you aware of your blackness? I was very aware of who I was, the color of my skin. I knew I was a little brown girl growing up. I knew that. And I didn't have an issue with it, I would say the only thing was, around 4th grade, I would tell my mom, I want a perm. I want straight hair like the other girls. I don't want nappy hair. It hurts so bad. It tangles. I can't do this. So, yeah. That's the only part of my blackness that I was confused about. And I wish I would have never touched a relaxer. You understand? Because now I'm 21 and I'm just now embracing my naturalness. I'm 21 and this is my first time in my adult years ever going back to my natural roots. But growing up, my grandmother, she was a Muslim, and she had black pride. You understand? When I went to her house, she had African oils, African statues, African masks hanging on the wall, sculptures of Dr. Martin Luther King. She had a whole lot of African art. She had paintings of Malcolm X, pictures of Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan. She was definitely pro-black, and bookshelves, don't even get me started. I don't know how many books she had, but it was so much black excellence. Downstairs in my living room, we have 2 shelves of her books, and it's so much black excellence. Just, things you would never know if you didn't go look for yourself, if you didn't open a book. So she always made me aware of it. If I ever had to do a Black History report on Paul Robeson or anybody, I can say, Grandma, you got some books. I need some books for some research. She had it, I never was ashamed of being a black girl. Never. Never. Never, never, never. Probably as a child, maybe, I wanted white doll babies or something. But for the most part, my mom bought me the black Barbies, the Barbie dolls that were a limited edition, that were going to be worth something. And they were black Barbies dressed in these nice dresses. And it just showed us that, black was beautiful too. What do you think about branding yourself? I think that in order to get anywhere in life, well, for me, in my opinion, branding myself means freedom and happiness. To go back to, was I aware of my blackness? I was aware of my blackness in a positive light. I never had any issue growing up being black. When I was 16, I started my first job. And the first year was to be expected. I was learning the job. I was, the typical 16-year-old at a summer job. I worked at a water park here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'll say about the 2nd or 3rd year, I became aware of my blackness in a negative light. I learned that because I was a darker brown woman, or a medium brown woman, whatever you want to associate it as, I would be discriminated against. I wouldn't get the roles or the positions that other people would get. I was there for 3 to 4 years, 3.5 years, and never rose to a higher position, a higher pay, no matter how much work I put in, no matter that I was doing more work than the next person, no matter that almost every time I went to the money room, I was almost even. But I was in the front of the park. I took the bags, I took the pictures, I sold the tickets, I counted all the money. I checked, like I said, bags, checked tickets and stamped people. I was in the front of the park. And being in the front, you will never, and you're a brown girl, I think the only supervisors up front were light women. Two light women who were black, and the rest were white people. When I was leaving, I think a black guy was doing bag check, and he was in a supervisor shirt, but wasn't really named a supervisor. Even being told to go fill out my application by my manager to be supervisor and still not get it, you know, I got that encouragement, like, okay, he's telling me to do this, so I might get the job, you know, I might become supervisor. That 4th year coming back and putting on that same uniform that everybody else had, that I had for 3 years, that made me realize I'm black, I'm in the front of the water park. People up here who I'm telling, supervisors that I'm telling how to do the job, you know, you shouldn't be asking me questions about a job that you should already know how to do, because you're a supervisor. You know, I'm a employee. I'm just a regular old admissions employee, and you're asking me how to do your job. I should not be tutoring you. You should be telling me how to work the cash register. You know, that's when I became aware of my blackness in a negative light. That's when I learned that because of the color of my skin, I would be discriminated against. You understand? Back to branding myself. I brand myself because I know it means freedom for me. It means happiness. It means I can do what I want to do. It means I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to be professional. I can be Daquana. You know, when your profession is being yourself, when you don't have to put on a mask for people, when you don't have to put on a mask for people, you know, it's just better that way. So that's why I brand myself, because I know it equals freedom and happiness for me. I know that if my name became a household name or a popular name, that, you know, I didn't have to change and be somebody else to get ahead in life, you know. I can just be me and be successful doing it. When are you most vulnerable? I'm most vulnerable during a heartbreak. I've only had 2 true heartbreaks in my life. And those were the times where I was most vulnerable. I learned the most about myself. I went through hell. It was a heartbreak. But I appreciate a good heartbreak. You understand? I appreciate it because when I was heartbroken, I learned so much about myself. That's it. Like, being alone, being in that state helped me to learn about myself, to discover what it is that was holding me back, you know. That was my most vulnerable state. To watch somebody that you love so strongly just, you know, leave, and to know that even if you tried to work on things, that they wouldn't be the same. And the thing is, my 2 heartbreaks were all from platonic relationships. The people that I loved the most were never here. We never saw face to face. We never hugged, kissed, any of that, you know? And that just made it deeper for me that I can, people right here in front of me, I never felt that way about them, you know? But the people furthest away who I could never see or reach meant the world to me. What would I tell my 12-year-old self? Wow, this is a hard question. What would I tell my 12-year-old self? Wow, that through life, you know, pain is almost inescapable. You can't escape pain. Pain will always be there, you know. That you can't learn unless you're taught the lesson, you know. And sometimes the lessons that we are taught comes from pain. Being an artist, I'm constantly opening up my old wounds and re-healing myself, but endlessly opening myself. You understand? And my art, when I do my art, it's almost always through pain, you know. To be Daquana, anything that comes before that, before I am black, a black woman, before you see the color of my skin, before you see my gender, before you know, you see my size, before any of that, I want to be seen as Daquana. You know, I don't want you to have to look at me. I don't want to be the superficial. Before any of that, I'm Daquana. This exercise was much needed. I encourage every woman to do this. A quote that I live by: I aspire to inspire. No matter what body you're in, love it. This is the only one you'll get. If you're not happy with it, learn to be. Learn to be free. Let your body free you. Don't be held back because of the body you're in. Be pushed forward. Persevere in your body. It's not about the body. It's about the mind, the heart, the soul, the spirit, all of those things. Thank you guys so much for watching.